let's go.
Okay.
Hi guys, I am here with Vanessa, my friend from Dubai. If you want to again introduce yourself, because I'm not sure which video is going to go first. We just filmed a video together on a few fragrances. Vanessa, actually no.
No, I was blind.
She was blind. She was blind smelling fragrances. And she was telling us her opinion of what she thinks about them. But now we're gonna film something. Vanessa has just chosen a few fragrances from my collection, which is very big.
Yeah, it's a bit overwhelming, yeah.
Vanessa has chosen a few fragrances from my collection that she loves. Either she knew them before or she discovered them today. Like maybe one or two she discovered that she loved today at my place, which I'm super excited about. And we're gonna talk about them in this video. So, yeah, do you want to explain a little bit about who you are as a person and what you do?
Okay, so I am a writer. I've been in Dubai like 3 years. Demi and I met a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
I've been in fragrance for about 5 years-ish, on and off now, because my writing's taken over, but I write about fragrances as much as anyone wants to read about fragrances. So yeah, talking about them is a little bit different. Yeah.
I can imagine. I feel like looking at the camera, you're so much browner than I am. Like you're so much more tan. I'm so jealous right now.
Yeah, I just have like tan skin in general.
I just have tan skin, like naturally. Let's get into this video. We're going to go through Vanessa's favorites from my collection. And yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Okay, which one do you want to start with?
As you want, you pick whatever you want. Do you want to go with the first one?
Yeah, this is just whatever's next. Okay, so this is Kilian, Back to Black. It's just masculine. It ticks all the boxes for being a masculine fragrance. It's almost like velvety smooth. It's just a really solid choice for a fragrance. It's not polarizing in any way.
It's very sweet though, I feel.
I get a hint of sweet.
Okay, you get a hint of sweet.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think it's super sweet, but there is a hint of sweetness there, but in the best way.
Okay.
Like for me, it comes across more masculine than anything. Okay.
Interesting, because I feel the complete opposite about this fragrance, but I'm really happy to hear somebody else's opinion about it. Would you like to smell this on like a date or...
Evening date.
Evening date.
Yeah, restaurant, bar. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like, this does it for you.
I think it would also really work in like, if you were in a car or like a cab.
Okay.
I think it would project well and it'd be quite...
Intoxicating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Intoxicating is the word for this fragrance. Okay. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
One of my faves.
Back to Black from Kilian.
Yeah.
I also love it, but the thing that's funny is that I love it to wear myself. Like I don't necessarily want to smell this on a guy. So it's really interesting to hear your perspective about it. And that's what's crazy about fragrance, is that we all have different perspectives. And Vanessa, you said that you would rather smell this on a guy.
Yeah, because you know, I do have that taste where I do like to wear more masculine scents when I want to feel confident or a little bit more bold, but for me this isn't one that I
would want to wear yourself.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
No,
so
I want to smell it on
the guy. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Okay, amazing. Back to Black by Kilian.
Okay. Yeah, this for me is a strange one because I don't tend to go for fresh fragrances on men. But it's a Goldfield&Banks Pacific Rock Moss. If I can, I'm so bad at this.
It's okay.
Is it even?
It's going, it's working.
Okay. So, I'm also a little bit biased towards this fragrance, and the reason I first picked it up is because it's one of my favourite colours.
Blue?
So I was intrigued by the colour at first, which is just so not right when you're picking a fragrance. But I just intrigued by it, picked it up, smelt it. Not normally a fresh lover, but this for me is just, if I was to design a fresh fragrance for a man, it would be this.
Honestly, I agree with you.
It's like almost a little bit aquatic, like it's just a perfect blend of like masculine, fresh, aquatic, like it's just perfect. I don't know, I just think like Capri on a yacht, like it's just like a Greek island, like a holiday like fragrance.
I agree with you, and actually there's a funny story from me with this fragrance. It's the first niche fragrance that I ever discovered like many years ago. And the guy who owns the brand, his name is Dimitri, and he's also the first person that I was introduced to in the fragrance industry. And I met him, and the reason that I met him was because I fell in love with Pacific Rock Moss. And I agree with Vanessa, it's such an interesting fresh fragrance, not because it's specifically a unique scent. It has something like really addictive about it. And I don't know what it is, but it's like, it's fresh, but it's not the fresh sort of fragrance that you would expect. There is something really like, like you want to keep on smelling it, I feel.
It's not like a Dolce Light Blue.
No.
I am like the female Dolce Light Blue. Intense.
Me too.
Oh, perfect summer fragrance.
Me too.
And the men's Dolce Light Blue, perfect. But
me too.
This has got something special about it, and I feel for me, when I've been around men who wear it, it lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah, I need to smell it in the cup. Oh, there is something about it. I don't know, and it just got all over my nose, by the way. I also agree with Vanessa on this one. I don't really enjoy so many fresh fragrances. And I just explained it in a video, it's not that I don't love fresh fragrances, it's just that I find them hard to be like obsessed with. Like I'm much more of like an oriental fan. I love oud, I love vanilla, I love spices, I love those type of fragrances. But when it comes to fresh fragrances, I really find it hard to like love one of them. It's
hard to find one that you feel stands out.
Yeah, like, exactly. And Pacific Rock Moss for me as well is one that I find like a standout fresh fragrance. And also I have to mention that they did improve the formula to being more long lasting, and it projects more than it used to a few years ago. So just a little side note. Next one, tell us why you love this fragrance.
Okay, for someone who doesn't like people who, like, I don't like being around the smell of smoke. Like in a family who houses smell like smoke, and like you leave smelling like smoke is not, doesn't appeal to me in any way, shape or form. So it's always surprised me that tobacco is one of the things that attracts me to men's fragrances. Like, is that a note in there? For some reason I'm drawn to it, as well as cinnamon for some reason. But Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. I think I first encountered it in an airport.
Okay, interesting.
Duty free, it's where you find most fragrance obsessed people, but it's just almost indescribable. It's sweet, but it's like a sensual sweet. It's not a sickly or a feminine sweet. It's like a masculine, sensual kind of. I wouldn't wear it in the summer. I think it's too sweet. I think it would just, it would go too sweet in the summer on a man. If you were a woman and you wanted to wear it in the summer, I think it would just go the right amount of sweet, but a man, I think it would just be a little bit too borderline feminine. But it lasts well on the skin as well, which is one of the things I really like. This is kind of like cable knit sweater, like cozy, but sexy.
Vanille from Tom Ford. Also one of my faves. It's just such, like you said, like a cozy, sexy, sweet fragrance that still smells like somewhat masculine. And I also love it, especially for like the winter time when you want to curl up or you want to go on a date and you want to feel like comforted. This is a fragrance.
It's an addictive one as well.
Addictive for sure.
Like, I need to put the bottle down. Of course. I think it falls on most women's lists, but Parfums de Marly, Layton, but this is the exclusive. I feel like this just has something extra that the original doesn't quite have. I think both formulations are exceptional, but this for me just has an extra edge. I've just sprayed it all over my leg. What's interesting about this fragrance is there's a lot of sort of almost feminine notes in here. Like, there's a rose, and I am a bit of a grandma when it comes to fragrances. I love like white flowers, I love rose. but in men's fragrances, those notes also draw me to it.
Yeah.
And the rose is the main thing that I pick up on this fragrance, but in a really good way.
Yeah.
It's fresh. It's got more depth than the original.
For sure, it has more depth.
Yeah, it's a lot longer lasting for me. I feel like it projects a little better. I would say wear the original on the day, and then if you're going for a date,
the exclusive.
Yeah, just layer it up.
Me, with Layton and the exclusive, there is something, personally, I think they're really unique, and I think it's so rare to create a unique fragrance in the times that we are in now. Like, in the fragrance industry, it's extremely rare to create something that's unique. From the other references from Parfums, I cannot say the same, like Percival, from Pegasus, from whatever. I cannot say that they're like the most unique fragrances, but Layton, I don't know what it is about the scent. It still has this familiarity to it, but yet it still smells so unique. Like, for me, it just blows my mind, and that's why it will remain one of my favorite fragrances ever, personally. I know it's also one of yours, but for me, that's like, it really remains one of my favorite scents to smell on a man. And when there is something so unique and sexy about the scent. And I agree that the exclusive has much more depth to it. It feels like there is something more like intriguing about the fragrance than the original.
I think the thing with both fragrances is that they're familiar, as you said.
Yeah.
But every time I smell it, it smells new.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't smell like, oh, I've smelled this before. It's, you always just bring it back to your nose.
Yeah.
It's like, I know it, but it's so good. It feels, because it's so unique, it does just draw you back in again. Yeah.
For me, what I would say is that whenever I smell it, it's recognizable, which also means that it's very unique, because whenever you smell something that you know exactly what it is, like Tom Ford Black Orchid, like Chanel No. 5, like Baccarat Rouge 540, you know what you're smelling when you smell those fragrances. Layton for me is one of those fragrances. Like, I know that I'm smelling Layton when I smell it, because it is very unique and it's so good.
Which also, as like a side note, helps, like, for someone who's like us, we're interested in the fragrance industry. If a girl also knows the fragrance industry and she smells this on you, she will recognize it, and then you're automatically a little bit more, okay. You know.
He knows.
So, Santal Royale by Guerlain. This one is this working? Have I got it? Yeah?
Yes,
maybe?
it's okay.
So, this for me, I've always found quite polarizing. People do not know how they feel about it. Like, my dad loved it, one of my boyfriends hated it, my brother was like, but when you smell it on a man, it's just, there's something so masculine about it.
I'm shocked because I couldn't agree more with you right now, so continue your, your spiel.
It's just, I just imagine, like, again, it's a date night, maybe in the winter, like, just super masculine, super sexy, a little bit of sweetness to it. It's just a really beautiful fragrance.
What I find interesting though is because we both find Santal Royale super masculine, but yet it is a rose, let me say that again, rose and oud combination. I talked about it in a video a few videos ago, and I said that I love Santal Royale. I love it, but I specifically love it when a man wears it, because I think it's something to do with the dry down or the chemistry of the skin, but it ends up smelling quite masculine, a little bit animalic. It smells like rose and oud, maybe more prominently the oud, and it just smells so good. And when we were in Paris, like for the second time that we're in Paris, I smelled Santal Royale everywhere. In the taxi, in the shops, in the streets. I smelled this fragrance everywhere. And I think it's like a really popular fragrance in France, especially, But in general, I think it's just a fantastic fragrance on a man. Like I really think this fragrance, it really works with the chemistry of a man's skin.
It's I think, as I mentioned, I have a soft spot for rose anyway. So, but I also do like oud has for the past like 5 years been one of my top notes that just makes me like, oh, so good. And living in Dubai, that's great.
Yeah,
every mall you walk through, oud,
oud, but everywhere.
But the combination of both rose and oud is just, it blends so well. I feel like I smell it a lot in Dubai Mall.
Oh, okay.
Like I feel it's one of those combinations which is just loved here because they're two of the notes that like are really popular in the Middle East, and that normally would make me a bit more hesitant to be like it's one of my favorites because I like people to smell a little bit more unique. But it's just so good that that doesn't matter.
I think they did the most incredible job with Santal because it smells. It doesn't necessarily smell unique, but it smells really high quality. The mix of the rose and oud and the saffron, it's like a dry, woody, slightly smoky, slightly fresh in a way, rose and oud combination. It's just so interesting.
See, I don't get smoky, but I do get fresh.
Yeah, I guess touch of smoky underneath.
It's just a really interesting fragrance, and it's one of those that it's instantly likable, and the more you're close to someone in like an intimate setting, the more you get from the fragrance, so you feel like you're getting more from the person. So yeah, it works.
For sure, for sure. I'm also a fan. Both of us approve of Santal.
I mean, let's just start with the bottle.
It's a pretty cool bottle.
Yeah, but as a scent itself, this is in either the video that goes before or the videos after this. But I blind smelled this and I recognised it but couldn't pinpoint it. But oh, I don't even have to put the blotter to my nose. I can smell it already.
You can smell it straight away.
It's just, it's sweet, it's boozy, it's masculine, it's heaven. Is how I describe it. It's there's just not one thing that I think, oh, it's a good one. Yeah.
It's a really good one?
Just, this is one that I feel is kind of like a foolproof partner gift. Like,
that's a good comment to have.
I just think it's sweet, but it's not too sweet. Like, the sweetness is like seductive, it's sexual, it's not, like it's not like a cake. It's, it is almost like, it looks like a whiskey glass. It kind of gives that kind of gentleman's lounge vibe, but not in like a horrible way, in like a nice way.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so this one is Amouage Interlude Black Iris. So, to be honest, when I first smelled this fragrance, I did not like it.
Okay. When did you first smell it?
I can't even remember. But I remember being like, no, not for me. Okay. But the more I've come back to it and the more I've smelt it on people, like I've actually complimented people wearing this. Okay. And they've been like, I'm wearing Amouage. And I'm like, no you're not. I'm like, no. Yeah. But yeah, it's just everything about this fragrance. On the blotter, I don't feel like it does it justice. For sure. I agree with that comment. And I think that's why the first time I smelt it, I was not so won over by it. But I feel like on the skin, it really envelops like and just brings out the highlights of the fragrance. Because like it's got that powdery sort of note to it, but not like a grandma, not like uncomfortable powder. Yeah. Just like a hint of it. But it's also a little bit fresh, but there's depth to it, which is, it's hard to describe it off the blotter because what I'm smelling now is like when I've smelled it on a man, it's not what I smell. It's, I feel like when it's on a man, it's super sexy. For sure. Like, for sure. But on this blotter, like I would wear it, but when I've smelled it on men, I don't want to wear it. It smells too much for me, but on this blotter I'd wear it. But obviously it's when it's on your skin and it's settled.
It's completely different.
Yeah, but it's an interesting one, and that's why it's one of the ones I picked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Me as well. I love Black Iris from Amouage. It's more of a recent love for me because the leather mixed with this like iris, orris combination. There is something sweet. There is something kind of like musky, earthy, woody. It's a very, very complex fragrance, and I would probably say it's one of the most unique fragrances that I have ever smelled, like truly. Black Iris, it's actually made by the same person that made Tom Ford Black Orchid, and although they are not the same fragrance whatsoever, I feel like they both have the same complexity that I have smelled in a fragrance. Like, you cannot really understand the fragrance because they're so unique and so complex that, I don't know, like it's just hard to give a few comments about the scent. I love Black Iris. Again, what Vanessa said, I prefer to smell it on someone because it really, like, there is a different feeling when you smell Black Iris on a person. Like, it's different.
Bronze Tonka by Carolina Herrera.
Okay.
And this was in one of my old jobs, and I was at the strategy meeting when this was being kind of discussed as launching, and I can't describe it, but you know that when you're in a meeting and someone says that they want to try it on their skin, it is the biggest compliment you can get in the industry. And I was instantly like, spray all over me. Just, it's so good. And I've had a love for it ever since then. And for me, I'm not normally like a gourmand, sort of anything edible, not my vibe to wear myself, because this is gonna sound strange, but I feel like my natural scent is quite sweet. Like, there's kind of like a lot of vanilla sweetness to like my skin. So
I think some people, they have like sweet skin, some people like more acidic.
So when I wear sweet, it just kind of becomes, well, other people will say it's nice, but I feel like it's too sickly. Whereas I wear this on my own skin and it's just beautiful. It's the perfect blend of absolutely everything. It lasts so well. I think I gifted my brother it once and he loved it, and he is just, I think one of his other fragrances is Frederic Noir by L'Eau d'Ivoire.
Okay.
And so they're so different. Yeah. But this is just, there is something about this fragrance that...
It's also one of my favourite fragrances to wear on myself.
Yeah.
So good.
A little bit spicy, just very warm.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. Yeah.
I absolutely love this fragrance as well.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Very good. And you would like to smell it on a guy?
100%. Yeah.
It's very sweet though.
It is very sweet.
Very sweet. But more of like a creamy sweetness, and like Angel's Share. I feel like Angel's Share has more of like this spicy, boozy, dried fruity sort of smell. This one is more like tonka beans, a little bit of dried fruits maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It's really, really incredible, this fragrance, and I have worn it so many times personally. And I would also like to smell it.
I think it is like it's meant to be unisex, right? But
yeah.
I feel some women would be a little bit sort of, it's a bit too bold, or it's if you like floral or like super feminine, it's probably not going to be your cup of tea. But for men, it's just so good.
Yeah,
like it's so good. Yeah. Next up is Naxos by Xerjoff. So this I smelled for the first time today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was surprised actually.
Yeah, I don't know how I've never encountered it, and I feel like I've missed out. So
it's a good one. It's a good one.
So yeah, I have no idea what the notes are. I have no information.
I'll pour it while you smell.
Yeah. It's just, oh wow, okay. It's warm, it's fresh, it's a little bit sweet. It's addictive, like, yeah. I would say wear it all the time as well. I wouldn't say...
For a specific season
or
something.
I think it would just... It's quite... I wouldn't say versatile, but you could get away with it. Like if you had the confidence to go with it, you could definitely pull this off.
I love that comment because I believe in it, like what you said. Like I wouldn't say wear it all season, all occasions, everything, but if you have the confidence, wear it. I agree.
It's just so good. It's like a little earthy, it's just a really beautiful fragrance.
So a new favorite for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I also love this one. I recommend it. And actually it's Pierre's like one of his current favorites.
Is it? Interesting.
Yeah.
I can see why.
He loves, from Xerjoff, he loves Uden, Mephisto, which are both fresh. And his like gourmand fragrance or like more seductive, sexy fragrance from Xerjoff, his favorite is Naxos. And it's so good.
It's just so good. Seductive, mysterious, just all of, yeah.
All of those things.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally, tell us about your last favorite.
Okay, so I think I'd only ever smelled this one maybe once or twice before until today.
Okay.
On the video that goes over before or after this, I think, was it my number 10? It was your 10 out of 10. Yeah, it was my 10 out of 10. I think I must have a thing for boozy fragrances. Sweet, seductive, warm, like perfect for an intimate setting. Like perfect. I'm
sorry, but like I'm smelling this one in the air and like it's doing things to me that are like not good right now. I cannot explain this fragrance. Go on.
It's just so masculine, so sexy, so just everything you want a man to smell like in a bottle. Yeah, it's definitely one for more intimate moments. Yeah, there's just like a real sort of almost like animalistic kind of vibe to it that mixed with the sweetness is just irresistible. Yeah.
I cannot smell this one without it making me want to do things. There's just something about the scent. There is like a little like in the fragrance that just makes me like crazy.
Again, it's that kind of gentleman's lounge sort of bar, like I am a gentleman kind of, but take my clothes off.
Yeah, take our clothes off with this fragrance.
It's a good one. It's
done.
Yeah. We're ended on a
bombshell. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video of Vanessa's favorites. I hope that you enjoyed it. And yeah, don't forget to follow Vanessa. I will have it linked down below, her Instagram, in case she decides one day to start a YouTube channel. You need to follow her. And we will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.